Hello and welcome to PreCalc. Today is Tuesday, September 1st. We're going to write that at the top of our page. And our topic today is quadratic formula. This should be review for most of you, but it's good to be fluid with it. Alright guys, right off the bat, we're just going to start and write out our quadratic formula. We're going to label it as such. Okay, I'm betting that most of you have this memorized, but it's x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The only time I ever see mistakes with this is if we put the fraction bar like that. Everything needs to be divided by 2a. Okay, we're going to put a box or something like that on this on our paper. Keep it nice and organized. Okie dokie. Let's just dive into our first example. Okay. Example 1. We got 4x squared minus x minus 8. Now, the biggest thing of the quadratic formula is actually knowing when to use it. So if I saw this problem, first thing I would do is say, oh, that's a doesn't equal 1. And that should still be the first thing you do. You should try to factor it before you go straight to the quadratic formula. So let's see what that would look like if we try to factor this. I got negative 32. I do my x. So I need to multiply to negative 32, but add to negative 1. Is that possible? Let's find out. We'll find out by getting all the factors of 32. We've got 1 and 32, 2 and 16, and 4 and 8. Yep, I believe those are all the factors of 32. Now, you can see that no matter how we manipulate any of these pairs, we're not going to get to negative 1. So let's make a note for ourselves. We're going to say, test all possible factors first. If none of them work, only then do we use the quadratic formula. Feel free to pause here if you need. Also, you don't need to wait for me to say pause. Feel free to pause whenever you need. All right, so we tried to factor it. That should always be your step one, but that didn't work. So now I need to use the quadratic formula. All right, first I'm going to label A, B, and C. My A is 4. My B is negative 1. Be careful, we keep the sign. And my C is negative 8. Okay, I'm just going to plug this into our formula now. We're going to start up here. So I've got x is negative 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared minus 4 times 4, because A, times negative 8, all over, we say all over, because everything's getting divided, all over 2 times A, all over 2 times 4. Okay. Now we're just going to go through and simplify things. Okay, negative 1 right here just becomes positive 1. Plus or minus stays plus or minus. And now I've got square root. Let's see. Negative 1 squared means negative 1 times negative 1, so that's positive 1. And then up here in green highlighter, I'll break this down a little bit here. So what we really have is negative 4 times 4 times negative 8. Negative 4 times 4, negative 16 times negative 8 is 80, 48 is positive 128. So I've got plus 128 all over 2 times 4, so all over 8. All right, not much more to go. I've got x is 1 plus or minus the square root of 129 over 8. We can't do anything with the square root of 129. It's not a perfect square. So instead of plugging that into your calculator and getting a messy decimal, we're just going to leave it as it is. Now, let me show you what's really happening here. We're getting two answers. We're getting 1 plus and 1 minus. My first answer is 1 plus root 129 over 8. My second answer is 1 minus root 129 over 8. So these are the two answers. You can also write your answer as this. Both are good. All right, guys, that's all for today. Thanks.